What's going on, Jerome's? So we would have got to this earlier, except we were out at an undisclosed location winning the day. That's right. Shout out to our guy Eli stopping by saying hi. Also, so I've noticed this. I ain't mad when we get noticed in public, but 99.9% of them dudes, right? I was told that the small to medium YouTube sports channel would bring in all the women. Nada. Happens, man. But anyway, actually, no, there was one great one. So, all right. So, general rule of thumb, like if you see me out with my kids, just sort of say hey. But this one lady was so amazing. Her name was Donna. She's from Canada. I think Saskatchewan, and she basically just came up and like bear hugged me. She probably, this is tricky. I'll say late 40s. Nailed it. And she was just like, oh my God, I love you. You're awesome. You remind me of my son. So the women we do get, I'm infantilized. No, I was going to say infanticide. That's not right. Infantilized by them. Nailed it. Anyways, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah had a presser a couple of weeks out from the draft, mercifully 2 weeks out from the draft, and he had some insight on what the Vikings are going to do. Currently, the Vikes are sitting at 11-23 after trading with the Houston Texans to get the number 23 overall pick, sending number 42 this year, as well as a future second rounder and some change. But the Vikings looking for that quarterback of the future, right? And the Vikings do have the ammunition. They can move up. They can stick and pick. They can do a lot of things. And Kwesi basically just reiterated the fact that the Vikings are sitting in a really, really damn good spot right now. So first up, Will Raggett's Kwesi. The draft is coming. We got a great plan. That's awesome. Hopefully it's not like Brad Childress's kick-ass offense or Donna Shell. You're going to like the way we play. I guarantee it. Shut up, Ed. Vikings, from the mother account. Just because something is risky doesn't mean you're scared of it. It's uncertain, and we got to take our swing, but that doesn't give us any pause. Kwesi. I love it. I love that. Put that on a damn shirt. Just because something risky doesn't mean you're scared of it. That's how I live my life with very janky taco trucks. Or going to restaurants and ordering the fish, even though you know that they don't have a high turnover with fish. Risk it for the biscuit. That's right. And that's the whole thing about it too, is like, hey, even if the Vikings stick and pick, that's not a guarantee that the players that they select are going to be good. There's tons of factors in there, but risking it all. And also, here's the thing too. If the Vikings end up trading up into the stratosphere to find the quarterback of the future and he works out, worth it. If he doesn't, whatever. Yeah, doesn't whatever. Hey, guess what? So the Vikings, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. But say the Vikings trade up 3 first-round picks for Drake May, just for pure example, right? So 11, 23, and future first-rounder. All right, so Drake May could not work out. That's fine. But guess what? 11, 23, and future first-rounder also could not work out because the draft is a bit of a crapshoot. That's what happens, man. And also, what if Drake May is that dude? Think about it. Just a beautiful, high-end talisman thrown to JJ and Addison and Hawkinson. It's good times. Next. Kramer, a Vikings GM Kwesi talked to local reporters, blah, blah, blah. Multiple guys were in love with, and multiple guys weren't in love with at certain value. So, Kwesi did speak to the fact that there are multiple quarterbacks in this draft that certainly could be the future franchise guy for the Vikes. And Kevin O'Connell's even talked about it too, where it's good to fall in love with multiple quarterbacks. It's good to fall in love with multiple prospects at any position and having flexibility, because when you get disappointed is that if you're like, hey, if the Vikings do not draft Bo Nix, I am going to light myself on fire. That's a bad example given recent events. I will quit cheering for this team. All that. But so having tunnel vision, it's fine to a degree, but also rally the F up once your draft class is in. Like me, the example we always put out. I had concerns about Jefferson getting off a press coming out of LSU because he played only in the slot. Could he play on the outside, or was he strictly going to be a slot receiver? But guess what? When the Vikings drafted him, biggest Justin Jefferson fan in the world, man. That's right. Don't let your ego and your like marginal scouting, myself included, by the way, get in the way of you cheering for your, because I feel like if you're so stuck in your scouting report and your evaluation that you're going to like consciously or subconsciously cheer against a player on your team because I just want to be right. I just want to be the one I told you. Please get the hell out of here. Anyways, next. Vikes fan page. Kwesi on the flexibility of picks 11-23. We look at it at like an insurance product on different outcomes. Kwesi would be a phenomenal actuary. Actually, do you always use insurance? No. You can go your whole life and never get in a car accident. It's getting morbid here. Also, speaking of whole life, don't get whole life. Get term. But that's a conversation for another day. But if you did, you'd be really glad you had the insurance. I don't know how that's applicable to 11-23, but I mean, sure. I mean, it sounds good. Like, I feel like there's lots of things that sound really, really good, but then when you think about it, you're just like, what the hell does that even mean? Spielman was very good at that, and Kwesi is pretty damn good too. Mother account. A lot of times evaluators can be a little one-track mind. This is the guy and nobody else. That's what we just said. That's not how it's been. We've really come to appreciate how guys get to their answer a different way. I think that's going to serve us well. So, again, open minds and give yourself as many passes as possible and as many options and scenarios as possible for how the board breaks out. Next. Per persuasion. It is clear the Vikings have a preferred plan, but GM Kwesi also places value on where the quarterback is drafted and or how much it costs to move up. There are multiple quarterbacks that we are in love with just on an outright basis, but there are also other guys we're in love with given if we got them at certain values. So it's a reiteration of what was said earlier, but the whole thing about it is, too, is like, yeah, we would love Drake May. We would love Jaden Daniels. We would love McCarthy. We would love Penix. We would love Rattler. We would love Bo Nix, but only at certain places and only if certain value of trade if required. And that's really what it comes down to. And like we said, the Vikings, I mean, the Vikings' ultimate leverage and insurance is walking away. And guess what? Even though, say, the Commies at 2, the Patriots at 3, the Cardinals at 4, the Chargers at 5, even though they have a high pick, this is a draft where you would not mind having 2 pulls of this thing in the first round, and you can land 2 blue-chip prospects, especially at positions of value. Look at offensive tackle. You look at edge rusher. You look at corner. You look at D-tackle. You look at wide receiver. I mean, the Vikings obviously don't need all of those positions, but this is a thick THICC draft, and not only because of the quarterbacks, but also other positions are maybe not tier 1, but there's lots of tier 1A type players. And, I mean, if you're Washington, if you're the Chargers, if you're the Patriots, if you're the Cardinals, even though, yeah, you have a high pick, you look covetously at getting multiple shots at this. And also, if you're the Cardinals, imagine if you had 11, 23, and 27. So you had 3 first-round picks. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, like I said, it might not just be the Vikings negotiating with other teams. Other teams may be negotiating with the Vikings. Whereas, like, please, mama. But also, it's, hey, if the Vikings, again, the ultimate leverage in negotiations is walking away. And the Vikings are very capable of walking away. They don't need to trade up to 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not going to get their eyes gouged out in a trade up because they're not desperate. Because, hey, quarterbacks go, perfectly fine. We'll stick and pick. We could take Penix at 11. Maybe Bo Nix gets to 23. We can maneuver day 2. Got lots of options here. Or, guess what? We're perfectly fine with slinging Sam Darnold. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. Persuasion. Don't overlook this one from Kwesi. I do think you have to be ready for a scenario if there's elite players at premium positions on the board. I don't think you're supposed to reach or force or anything like, but that's just not what I believe. BPA. Now, quarterback tax does take precedent, but BPA. And, guess what? If Roma Dunze gets to 11 or Brock Bowers, spicy. Or, hey, if you determine that Latu is the guy or Dallas Turner or whoever, go get him. Go get him. Even though you spent a lot on 3 separate edge rushers and free agents in free agency, go get him. Go get your guy. Damn straight, man. Next. Seifert, who is not Carl Gershman. Skill set wise, if you're talking about the ability to overcome context, well, if the guy's got less ability to do that, we got assets to go get somebody that's not going to put him in that situation. Those things add up to, I don't know the context of that. We just clipped it. But it sounds good, right? Essentially, what he's saying is that the Vikings love at least some of the top-tier quarterbacks who could presumably carry a team, but also love some of the second-tier guys who wouldn't require a trade-up and thus would leave them with more assets to build a better team around them. So, yes, if say the Vikings, they can trade up to 3 for Drake May. They can trade up to 2 for Jaden Daniels. They can trade up to 4 or 5 for J.J. McCarthy. That's all well and good. But what is the value of that and what they'd have to give up in a trade-up, or sticking and picking and taking Penix at 11, or Penix with a small trade up to say 8, just boxing out the Broncos and or the Raiders potentially. And yeah, Aleclis wrapping up. Thought Vikings GM Kwesi made an interesting comment about visits with quarterbacks. We saw a lot of great leaders, and none of them are the same, and that's okay. You can be the quiet leader, you can be the fiery leader, you can be the lead by example guy. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, fiery guys, I mean, Rattler would be up there. Bo Nix would be up there. I mean, Hartman and Jordan Travis aren't really like rah-rah guys, but they certainly are leaders. Jaden Daniels, more of the quiet guy. Caleb Williams can get fired up at times. McCarthy seems as cool as a cucumber, except the whole thing is like, if you're coming to Michigan, don't come for girls or partying because we are going to win. And like J.J. McCarthy seems like the hall monitor of the quarterbacks, but it could work out. Penix is a damn good leader. Drake May's a little bit on the quiet side, but there are tons of reports of former teammates, former coaches just raving about his leadership. And is it orthodox? Probably not. But is it his own style, and does he get the job done? Yes, certainly, and that is important too. And that's what I love what Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell did during this quarterback evaluation process. Instead of just like seeing the kid at his pro day, running through his script he's rehearsed 17,000 times, throwing to his college receivers, grill the kid in the classroom. Hey, break down this look against cover 4. Break down what we do here on this play. Break down this high-low concept. Break down what you did in college, and then we'll explain how that's similar to what we run here with the Minnesota Fighting Vikings. And then go on the field and have them show you. It's great. And I think that more teams are going to crib that idea of having private workouts, especially with Tier 1 quarterbacks, as opposed to just the cattle calls at the pro days. It's good times, man. But fired up. I mean, Kwesi's got away with words, and now just got to back it up out there on the pitch. And I think that Kwesi will certainly get it done. Unlike my freaking Liverpool today. How do you lose to Atalanta? They misspelled Atlanta. Ridiculous. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Kwesi's pre-draft presser, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. So support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.